Hey YouTube, in this video I'm going to be doing a deck profile on the Machining Spark Hercules deck. So this is the other, probably the more common one now, since it's a newer card, and it's 11k body compared to Stag Beetle, which was a 10k Vanguard. So this is the more standard machining deck that I expect to see more people who are going to be playing Mega Colony use. Still uses the Break Ride, it's still pretty good. So it's going to be pretty generic in terms of the deck. So for Machining Spark Hercules, this is the main endgame Vanguard that you want to use. It has two effects. One is a non-limit break effect where you can Soul Blast, during the main phase you can Soul Blast a Machining and then rest all your opponent's rear guards. And then he gets 2,000. So it's an interesting effect. So then that makes him 1,300 without a booster, so you can hit a cross ride and all the opponent's stuff gets rested. So if you need to combo effects where you need all the opponent's stuff to be rested, for example his limit break effect, you would do that. So it's different from Stag Beetle in the sense that Stag Beetle actually called stuff from the soul onto the field as rested. He just soul blasts them. Next, for Unrivaled Blade Rogue Cyclamatooth. This is the Break Ride that had quite a bit of hype. This was probably the most hyped card of the double R's for set 15. It's the last Break Ride, and it's Mega Colony's Break Ride. So, last but definitely not least, very good card. It basically stuns the opponent's entire field. That includes the Vanguard, so they have to go pretty minus though. So it's a pretty good Break Ride. And there's no counterblast cost either, which is nice. Other thing I wanted to mention about Machining Spark Hercules, his limit break cost is counterblast. It's just 2 special counterblast. You have to counterblast 2 machining. So you want to maximize the number of machinings. Because he soul blasts them away and doesn't call them to the field, you don't really need to run the original machinings. Those are meant to be used with Stag Beetle. So here we can run Machining Red Soldier. So this is the 12k Machining generic attacker. Downside of him, mainly because Cyclamatooth is not a mega or not a machining. He is only going to be like a 9k until you have this on the field as a Vanguard, or he will be 12k early in the early game if you have like one of him over here and then you have a Machining Vanguard. But I'm thinking of actually maybe running just 3 of this, mainly because of the Break Ride, but I'm not sure yet. Next, for Machining Papillo, some people only like to run 3 of these. Really, they don't have any other targets besides running the Mantis. The main reason why we run this is because it doesn't use a counterblast. And when it's placed on R, you just basically stun one of your opponent's rear guards. So it's very good in that sense. For some reason, though, I noticed it doesn't work as well in this deck as it did with Stag Beetle, mainly because Stag Beetle could use this. It could call it out onto the rear guard circle, and then you could re-stun something. And then next, 3, Tarantula. What I may do is I may take one of these 2 for a 4th one of these. Because this does kind of apply a little bit more pressure. But it does use up a special counterblast of 1 machining to basically when it hits a Vanguard, you can stun one of your opponent's rear guards. Or trap one of your opponent's rear guards. Some people refer to Mega Colony as stunning, others refer to it as trapping. I've heard both used both ways. Moving on to grade 1s, 2 Machining Ladybug and 2 Paralyze Madonna. So I could run a 3rd one of these because I do have 3 of them, but I prefer not to. I don't really like to rely on more than 2 quintet walls. So I just like the 2 perfect guards for the stability and the reliability of these 2 cards. So without having to use up a counterblast or hope that you don't roll a bunch of 3s onto the guarding circle, stuff like that. So 2 and 2, 2 machining because it's machining, or 2 quintet wall because it's machining. 2 Machining Caucasus or Caucasus. This is the replacer to Mega Battler B, and it's machining and doesn't use counterblast. Then 3 Machining Black Soldier. This is the 10k machining. So early game, it'll be 10k because you most likely have a machining grade 1 and grade 2. But then once you get to Cyclamatooth, this thing kind of loses its specialty. So really the deck is pretty hindered badly by Cyclamatooth not being machining. So I may actually eventually just not run Cyclamatooth and just go with 4 Stag Beetle and 4 Spark Hercules, because I think that might actually be a pretty good build. Even though Cyclamatooth is a very good break ride, it just seems like he might be better used in a different, like a Ride Chain Mega Colony deck, or even Martial Arts Mutant Master Beetle deck. Just doesn't seem like there's that much synergy with them. Next, 3 Machining Mosquito. So this is the generic place on V or R, Soul Charge 1. So because he does Soul Blast a machining, that's why I'm still running these. So 3. And then 2 Machining Locust. The way he works is when he's placed on R, you can discard 1 card. Well, when he's placed on R, and you have a Mega Colony Vanguard, obviously, and then the opponent's rear guards are all rested, you may discard a card to draw a card. So we're running him because I'm not running draw triggers. So this is, I had space, so I just tucked them in. They're a new machining card, so it doesn't really hurt the deck. And then 4 machining heals, 4 machining stands, 4 machining criticals, and then 4 more non-machining criticals. So 8 critical, 4 stand, 4 draw. I still carry this over from the Stag Beetle deck because it works good. Actually, I think this lineup, well, it's about the same because Stag calls things rested, so the stand-ons can restand them. So it's not that bad, but mainly because it's machinings. I want to max out my machining triggers, and Bushiroad didn't give them a machining draw, which is, I just don't know why they didn't do that. And then the starter is Machining Little B. It's a very good starter for this deck. Probably the best starter they have right now. Works well with Stag Beetle and Spark Hercules. So that was basically the deck. It seems pretty interesting. Now that Mega Colony has Break Ride, there is a lot more options in terms of how you can build a deck. Like, let me know in the comments what you would suggest. Like, would you try a different build with like 3 Break Ride, 3 Spark Beetle? I mean, maybe 3 Break Ride, 2 Spark Hercules, and 3 Stag, or some crazy thing like that. Or let me know if you've made a competitive machining deck, because I'm very curious to see like what people are doing. Anyone who's playing this clan. It's a pretty underrated clan, but it's a pretty good one. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you like these type of videos, please subscribe. Thanks.